Remember last week, folks, after the Brussels terror attack, I spent significant time here on the EIB network explaining to you just what it was about Brussels being attacked that so shocked, frightened, scared the left. That Brussels, Belgium, represents the potential utopia in Europe. Little did I know how right I was. You know, my instincts are always right on the money, but on this one, man, there's even much more, and I can't wait to get into it, because what it is yet another lesson in a never-ending series of lessons on liberalism and the destructive nature it is. Greetings. Great to have you. Rush Limbaugh here behind the golden EIB microphone. The telephone number is 800-282-2882. And the email address, rushbo@eibnet.com. Hope you had a great Easter. I hope you had a great weekend. I had some time to recharge. Voice is a little bit better today, so we're rocking and rolling and ready to go. The New York Times, in a piece that ran, I guess it's today, "Who will become a terrorist? Research yields few clues." You believe this? The New York Times has been looking into who it is that becomes terrorists, and there's no way to know. There's no way to tell. It's impossible to ascertain in advance who is going to become a terrorist. Right here it is in the New York Times. The brothers who carried out suicide bombings in Brussels last week had long, violent criminal records and had been regarded internationally as potent and potential terrorists. But in San Bernardino last year, one of the attackers was a county health inspector who lived a life of apparent suburban normality. And there are dozens of other young American men and women who've been arrested over the past year for trying to help the Islamic State. Their backgrounds are so diverse that they defy a single profile. Really? They defy a single profile. They defy a single profile. They didn't have one thing in common. The San Bernardino two, the Brussels, Belgium brothers, the ISIS infiltrators, Americans that joined, not one thing in common. Not one. And even if there were, the New York Times wouldn't sit by and let them be profiled anyway. I have never seen such a scapegoat story. I have never seen, and this is such a brazen attempt to deflect focus and attention away from the obvious. I mean, it's serious. It's laughable at the same time, but it really makes you question the motivation here of the New York Times. And then here's an interesting website that we came across called thereligionofpeace.com. You know what this site does? This site lists acts of terror and the number of people dead and wounded in list format, much like the drive-bys report casualties in warfare, much like the drive-bys report the death count in any other criminal endeavor, but they never do it for terrorism. You get newspaper stories, website publishes stories with the details contained within paragraphs, but you never see the death toll. You never see the names, the counts, and the incidents, and they've done it here. List of Islamic terror in the last 30 days. Would you like the numbers? Just to give you an idea, this is part of the list of the Islamic terror attacks that the religionofpeace.com website maintains. During this time period, the past 30 days, there were 147 Islamic attacks in 25 countries, in which 1,165 people were killed and 3,221 injured. Now, how many of you thought that the only terror attack that took place in the last 30 days was Brussels? Or maybe you heard about one in Jakarta, but no way do you think that there have been 147 of them, and no way do you think that happened in 25 different countries, and no way do you think that 1,165 people have been killed, 3,221 injured. And We'll link to it at rushlimbaugh.com, the religionofpeace.com/attacks/attacks.aspx. But it's, our guys there find it without me sending them a link. And some of the countries, Pakistan, Nigeria, Yemen, Iraq, Scotland, Syria, Iraq, Bangladesh, Belgium, and it goes on. Iraq, Somalia, Yemen, Middle Eastern countries for certain, Philippines, Thailand, Syria, Canada, Egypt. It's an astounding list. And when you juxtapose this with the New York Times piece, who will become a terrorist? Research yields few clues. I mean, it's stunning. Okay, on to some other matter. Before we get back to the Brussels piece, Amir Tahari had just a brilliant column in the New York Post yesterday that need to impart some of the highlights from it, some of the excerpts from it, because it's, again, what do we do here every day? I mean, in addition to being America's anchorman, I simply report the news, all of it, and give you, aspects of it and angles that you don't get in the drive-by media or maybe in any other place. We don't do topics here. We don't do causes. We don't do guests. We just do the news of the day related to how I can use it to inform people what I believe and what I believe to be right. And I believe it liberalism and all of its offshoots. Communism, socialism, you name it. Fascism, yes, fascism is on the left, in the circle. It's not a straight line, of course. All of these things are the most destructive forces. Under the banner of liberalism, you could put under the banner of socialism or communism if you wanted. I prefer liberalism. Got to be careful though, because I don't want to keep people. Oh, here goes Limbaugh again on liberalism and get bored. I hope that doesn't happen because it's too crucial.